What is up? Hello, hello,
Hi
hello,
guys.
hello.
I see two people in the audience.
Welcome to today's creators call. Can we see some hellos, please? Um, what is up, Kevo? Yes, hey guys, Carlos, what's up? Welcome to today's creators call, everybody. We have some very exciting news that we will like to share with you guys. Um, I will wait for 1 second, but yeah, let's kind of start with one big feature that, first of all, I hope everybody had a great week so far. That is yeah, and hopefully everybody also has a good week from now on, since it's Tuesday. But I would like to start with a quick new feature that School has recently added that is very cool, and I would like to show it to you guys. So the feature is the affiliate program that is now in our community. School, yeah, announced or released that feature now. We've been waiting for it for a while. So every member who is now in the community, everybody who's a member in the community can now recommend the community to other people. You will, as a member, you will see a little button when you go into the community tab. There will be a little button saying, what does it say? Invite people or whatever. Um, and if you do that, you will, and somebody signs up, you will get a personal link. Everybody has a personal link. And if you do that and someone signs up through your link, you get 40% off their subscription. So everybody who has some friends who are interested in joining the group, make sure to send them your link. So you will get 40% of their subscription price as long as they are a member in the community. So if you take a look into the community tab, obviously it looks different for you, but when you're a member and you're inside the community tab, you will see there will be a little button saying, what does it say? I don't see it, but it says like invite
Invite
people or
friends.
whatever. Invite friends, yes. So if you have friends, which I hope you do, then make sure, and they're also into content creation and want to be part of Motion Creators, and you're happy with the product, then feel free to recommend them to the community. And if they sign up and through your link, then you will get 40% of their subscription without you doing anything. That is, I think, really cool. We'll keep announcing that feature in every call from now on. But yeah, just quick announcement that is here now, and I think will make a big difference. And yeah, you can start making, like, obviously passive income, but just recommending the community to other people. And we have more people in the community, so it's a win-win on all ends. Did I forget anything important about that, Paul?
No, that's it.
Yes,
There
we
will be
decided to
there will
go
be
for
update in the future. So we're
yes.
gonna start now with 30% of a commission, but I think we just gonna try different models because this feature allows us to try different things. Like maybe Black Friday next year, for example, we can say, hey, people can join only by invites, for example. It's
Mm-hmm.
an invite only community, things like this. We're gonna test
Yeah.
things in a different way. But for now, in the next weeks and month, we're gonna stick to 40% for everybody. So like right now, if you have friends and they're also into editing and content creation, I think it's a good deal and to make some passive income if you want. So yeah.
Yes, and that is obviously not exclusive. That is for everybody who's a part of Motion Creators. So feel free to use that feature. Cool, awesome. We have a topic today, right? First of all, we kind of is there any other announcements that we need to make for the people regarding like the community? I think oh yeah, again, we already announced it last week, but we will have a remodeled version, Motion Creators 2.0. You've probably seen it. It's going to be a big change in like structure and courses, and we'll restructure the whole thing. So yeah, that is coming April 1st. We're working on a bunch of new modules like compositing and After Effects and DaVinci and Fusion. We're also working on the full-on Blender course that is, really for a lot of people who have been asking for it. So it's about, understanding, learning Blender from the start without having opened the software before. So yeah, that is a big update coming on April 1st. Be excited for that. Cool. But now let's go over the topic of today's call, which is unleash your creativity. Manuela, we probably had some people asking some questions, right? Some some topics that we want to touch upon.
From last week we had people asking how to, okay, if you have clients, fine. I mean, we started with talking, having a portfolio, and we were saying about the presentation of that. But if we do a step backwards, we want to create our portfolio. Now we can find ideas to be something different from what the market offer, or maybe what the video that you see on Instagram and things like that. And as a second one, so just to give you more topics to cover, once you find something, how you can like pursue that specific something in terms of being always focused and not losing the fact that you cannot do something, you cannot reach that specific something, and so you give up, and then you are feeling like demotivated. So I think these are the main ones voted. So finding creative ideas and pursuing that idea until the end. So how you handle that in terms of creativity and also ideas to find.
Yes, awesome. I think we have had. I want to touch up on two things. So first of all, one big thing that I learned over the last months of growing my my social media account was that obviously having a creative idea is cool, and that usually comes from within. There's like a certain sense of creativity that I think everybody has, and it's up to you to kind of communicate that to the outside with like tools, with video editing tools, for example, like Blender or After Effects, whatever it is. But there is something very important, because when we're talking about creativity, we're not talking about artists sitting at home that are super passionate about their craft, and they're sitting there, they don't care if anybody sees it. We're talking about people that want to put out content, that I think applies to a lot of people here in the community. We're talking about people that want to create content for other people to get inspired, and ultimately also make a living from it, make a business out of it. So that means numbers matter, and that also means that you want your work to be seen, right? And I think that is something that I've experienced, and Paul and I have also had a chat about. What's up, Tasdeek? Welcome to the call.
Thanks, man. What's up, guys? All well?
What is up? Let me just finish my point. I think one big thing that I also realized was that creativity is cool and cool visuals are cool, but story is everything. So if your video looks great, you have this craziest idea, and I've had, I have examples of work that Paul knows that, where I was like, oh, this is full on creative, this is full on creativity, me unleashing my, anything that comes to my mind. And at the end of the day, I was not really keeping the story in mind, because I was too confident in that everything that is a crazy idea will be cool to other people. And I think the main point I'm trying to make is having a cool visual idea is nice, but having a strong story in place is what makes this visual piece come to life and stand out. And I want to give like 2 examples for that. And story doesn't necessarily mean like and I think everybody knows that story doesn't necessarily mean like a story that makes sense, right? It just needs to be a story that you're able to be like, that people can follow. If I take the G-Wagon video for an example, the storyline was that I said Mercedes refused to sponsor my video. Whether that is true or not, nobody gives a shit. It's like the statement I make, right? So I set like that's like the core the problem that we're having, like the core issue. There is like a company that refuses to pay this little guy money, right? So what does he do now? I want to know, and then this is kind of where the whole story is not that deep. It's just like me, giving the context of like the company refuses to sponsor it. And then I do something cool with it, and I show them what they're missing out on, whatever it is, right? But this is like an example for a story. But a story can also be, if you take, for an example, Nikolai, which is the guy, I probably know him, the guy who creates these crazy transitions, these let him cook transitions with the saw. You've probably seen it on Instagram. Everybody knows it. He's a good friend of mine, and his way of telling a story is not necessarily like him talking about something or him, telling a story. It's more like his story, and what people will follow and are prepared for is him having a product in his hand, dropping a product, having some salt in his hand, and people know what they will expect, right? And then they're surprised how good it turns out. But this is also just because they know what they can expect, so they kind of like they can follow the structure and the story of the video, which is why I want to make sure that when you create like a creative concept for something, there needs to be a certain amount of story involved, which is disconnected from the visuals that you're thinking about. Because I've seen examples of people that have been creating crazy visuals, but you can tell when a video has like a strong storyline that hooks people. It's like the same with cinematographers who are super passionate about their craft. I always compare that to like these kinds of people who are super passionate about like recording the cleanest shots and whatever, but nobody will watch it if there is not a story involved, right? And that is, I think one of the things I had to learn, I still struggle with, because sometimes I'm like too much in my mind about like, oh, this could be such a cool transition. And then, at the end of the day, people are like, why? Like that was too random. And, there can be a certain amount of randomness in your video and surprise, but usually it comes when we're talking numbers and like performance, like it makes a big difference if a video has a good story in place or not. That is like the key thing you should think about. And then also not over complicating your stuff, right? Sometimes it's important that people need to be able to follow. If it's like too overloaded with stuff, and obviously I'm like maybe not in the best position to be talking about this, because my videos are like all over the place, but still I try to focus on one element that is like that people can follow. Do you know what I mean? Like if it's the transformation of the G-Wagon, I don't have any explosions in the background, or because this would be kind of distracting from the one thing that where people look. Also make sure that when you're creating content for social media, people need to be able to like, the eyes can only go to one section of the screen. So make sure that this is more technical, but like your framing and like the focal, the point of interest is like very specific and very clean, executed in a clean way. So yeah, I think having a good story in place is the first step, and then coming up with like cool visuals that underline that story. And again, the story doesn't need to be like a fucking blockbuster. It just needs to be a cool story that people will engage with, I think. Yeah, I think that is the first thing. Oops, that was me. And also one more thing I want to add to that is, and then I'm also happy to maybe answer some questions about it. I think that especially when you're starting out and we're talking about building a portfolio, right? Because this is where I feel like a lot of people are struggling with is like, I know I want to create cool content, but like I don't have any clients that pay me to do cool stuff and all that stuff, and we had an interesting call, and Tastique was there yesterday with where we chatted with Damien, and he talked a lot about spec work and working with brands and building your portfolio based off spec work. Spec work meaning work that you do for brands that you were not paid for, that you were not in touch with, either way, but creating content specifically with the goal in mind to attract clients. Because this is one big thing. When clients see something perform well on your account, where they feel like, oh, this could be my brand, no matter if it's the specific brand that you picked out. Say you do car content for, I don't know, Mercedes, Porsche, whatever. You haven't worked with them before, but you put out a reel that, has like a Porsche involved. And that's a very broad example, obviously, because cars are very self-explanatory, but also make sure that your content fits to the kind of companies you want to work with, right? Because I think like this seems so simple, but I've also not done that for so long to just be putting out stuff where I was like, whoa, this is too cool to not do. What's up, Aladdin? And then I just put it out, and like it has no connection to any brands. And then I keep sitting there and be like, yo, why is no brand approaching me? Guess what? Because I don't have any reference on my portfolio where they feel like this could be a fit for them. Do you know what I mean? So having that specific goal in mind, creating spec work, branded content that is not branded on your portfolio, and making that cool is, I think, such a can be such a game changer. Because when you look at success stories of other creators, who have been getting massive brand deals. Most of the time, it's because they put out a reel before that was not connected to the brand at all, was not sponsored by the brand, but they saw that guy or that person because they did something that aligns with their brand. So yeah, I think that is also very important when you're building your portfolio, especially when we don't have any references. Yeah, that I think.
Yeah, I have also other two questions, but we also have from your messages the project that Kevo shared with you based on I think not the last one, but the previous one. I don't know if you want to go in there or you want to answer to other two questions that I have.
Is Kevo here? Are you in the call?
Yeah, he's
Kevo?
here.
If so, can we kind of like round this topic up, and then I would like to take a bit more time to kind of look at his project and also have him in the live call so we can have a chat about that.
Yeah, sure. So Kevo, if you want, stay in line.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, great. So I noted the questions over here. So what are your go-to sources of inspiration? If you have a favorite creator, if you have a favorite website, so if you need some inspiration for new projects, for graphic designer, maybe they use Pinterest, or if you have some like suggestion from this point of view.
I personally have an account on Instagram that I and I think a lot of people do that, specifically use for inspiration, because I really make sure that I only like the reels that are connected to, my work, and like, because even with my my work account, my Lenny Motion account, I keep scrolling through Instagram and I'm like, oh, this is a funny cat video. I was like that. So, it's so easy to get distracted. But I think having a specific account in place where like, okay, I'm looking for inspiration now, and having that algorithm trained to only show you that content is what helps me. I usually don't go to Pinterest, and maybe I should, but also like I feel like I get a lot of inspiration from other creators because they're so connected to what I do. And yeah, I would say my biggest source of inspiration is Instagram, and yeah, just conversations with people. I would say, because again, sometimes I talk with a lot of creators, right? I'm in touch with a lot of different creators from all over the world, and I'm also in a lot of calls with them and meet them. And I feel like understanding what their vision is and like understanding how they work also gives me a lot of like different input on stuff. For an example, if I just maybe put an example here, like I started to now, for my future content, I want to focus on making transitions a bit slower. Like the stuff that I do now is very like zhoo, 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 and I want to make transitions that are very seamless but very smooth, where the eye can really follow. You're like, whoa, this is like a small example of inspiration, just like. But yeah, this is because I was talking to this one guy who told me about his content. But yeah, Instagram, I would say Instagram, and then having a separate account that is trained to just show me the stuff that is inspiring, and then only going to that account when I need inspiration, by the way.
Yeah, so just to let you know, if you create an account and you start following only motion designers, then Instagram will only suggest you other motion designers. So this is why it's easier maybe to only have that as in the explore page and suggestion.
It takes like 5 minutes for the algorithm to catch up with what you like. When you just take 5 minutes of it's crazy. You just scroll for like 5 minutes and it's exactly the way you want it to be. So yeah, I think that. But then if you keep like, if there's like a cat video coming up and you keep watching that, but you don't even like it, we'll still show you cat videos. Where you're like, yeah, we see that you like that. So make sure that you really make sure to swipe those away.
It's pretty instant. The way the algorithm picks up on your activities, and they literally suggest it, as you said, like within 5 minutes or even less.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I'm also soliciting other people to ask questions if they have, because I'm still having my favorite questions. But if they have one, they have priority being here. So
yeah.
So based on the process, and so we are following kind of the process with the question. How do you organize the idea or the notes that you take and collect? So it would be like more, I want to do it and I do it right now, or you have like a note-taking app, or maybe you collect everything and then you come up with ideas later. What is your process?
I personally have like a very weird way of trying to note down my my ideas that I have in my head that I think only I would understand, which is why I have like them all over the place, which I think I should probably structure them a bit more. But sometimes it's like a little piece of paper that I draw something on, and sometimes it's just like a note app where I write something on. And but it's important. It's very important, by the way, to be able to communicate your ideas to clients, because I've experienced that. Maybe just to not drag that too long, but I've experienced that with companies now where they approach you and they're like, we want you to create this, and they trust you because they know that you have done other work in the past. But this should not be like best case scenario. You can prepare a concept that they roughly understand, they see the vision, because most of them do want to see something, they do want to understand something. You cannot expect the client to full on trust you with what is in your head, because I know I can do it. I know the idea is cool, but how would they know, right? So I now use a tool that is called no, I forgot the name. I will put it in the community a bit later. It's called, one second, I'll find it. But it's a tool that is like a 3D storyboarding tool that I now use to kind of map out my videos a bit more. And that has helped me with a bunch of projects. I just recently used that, but it's such a game changer. When I'm gonna have to do a concept today for a brand, and I'll use that tool to kind of map out the movements, because I think this is where they need to understand, camera movements, camera angles, what will be seen, and all that stuff. Which is why the tool that I will now share with you in 1 second is super helpful for that. But I forgot the name. I just paid like an annual subscription. Doesn't matter. I'll find it. I'll remember it, and I'll in this call I'll find it. But yeah, I use this storyboarding tool. But there's so many storyboarding tools. Just make sure that you have like a good tool in place that you can map out. Sometimes it's enough to just draw things. I've storyboarded like things on paper and then send it to the client. That was enough for them. But yeah, if just for me, I use notes and like nothing special. Super.
So it's like iPhone notes or whatever is like embedded in your mobile phone. We have also Solomon asking questions. They are anyway some part of the next one's planned, but we can eventually briefly talk about it. So how do you deal with creative burnout? And also the second one, how do you deal with procrastination? That is something that we are going to touch base anyway.
How do you deal with creative burnout? Good question. Coming from a good friend of mine whose name is Paul, who logged in with my account under my name. But the question is good, and that is an ongoing process for me, because creative burnout is definitely a real thing, especially when your creativity turns into a business. I feel like you've heard that from so many people and so many artists, and when you are in a position where people approach you for what you've done in the past, automatically it's always going to be compared to what you've done in the past, and I can relate to that a lot now, because I've done a few videos that perform well, and now everything is being measured by that standard, and it's really, really, really tough on you to deal with that and to like match that all the time with everything you do, because everybody who's paying you to do something is thinking you have like the secret sauce, and you're like the wonder kid that, and I feel like this is not a new thing. This has been there for forever, and I feel like it's an individual thing to everybody who's in that position to deal with it in their way. And I'm still in the process. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still in the process of like figuring out how to deal with it. I'm not going to sit here and have like the perfect advice, because I would lie if I had, because I do still struggle a lot with that pressure and being the creative guy who needs to perform all the time. But what I've realized in the past is, what I think is most important is that you keep going. And I feel like for me, what helped me a lot is obviously talking with people in that industry, talking with other people, seeing that they feel the same way, and just seeing that I'm not alone with it, I think is kind of I have a lot more conversations with people now than I used to have, and I think this helps me a lot. But I would lie if I said that I have like because it's super easy to say to kind of like disconnect your quality from the numbers and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, the numbers are what pays your bills, right? So it's very easy to say, but very hard to do, I would say. And I'm still in the process of figuring this out.
Also, Tasdeek has a question.
Yeah, just a quick one, yeah. It is related to the topic at hand. How do you balance originality with inspiration from existing work, past work, as well as other people's work that you see that you gain inspiration from? How do you balance all of that together?
Again, so the question is, how do I balance what I've seen and what other people do to
and what you have done in the past?
Yes.
Oh,
basically
yeah.
Your originality, your past work as an existing work, as well as other peers that you tend to gain inspiration from.
I think it's very it's a thin line between, you know, staying true to your style and staying true to what it is that got you there in the first place, and not relying on what has worked in the past. Do you know what I mean? Because that automatically, I have been in that position. A lot of other people, you see, like, their content performs well once with one single concept, and then they think, okay, this is the solution. They try to redo it and redo it and redo it, and this is not original. I think originality comes from trying out new things all the time, and naturally you will have a specific touch to them. There will be a specific touch, and I feel like with my style and my the stuff that I do, I think there is like a certain level of like creative language within that style, with like how movements look and what, you know, ideas I have. But I try to disconnect as much as possible, because I've realized that that is not always what works best, and what kind of like traps you in that, you know, you see what has worked for other people, you see what has worked for you, especially when it's worked for you, you try to stick to that. But it's really, really important that you try out new things. And it doesn't mean that you need to reinvent your stuff, but it just just means that you need to rethink of the tools that you're using. For an example, I was using Blender because the G-Wagon video, right? It performed well. It was me, real video, 3D part, outro, loops, intro, me talking, 3D stuff happening, something cool, outro, me, call to action. This is like the basic structure of that video. And I was like, cool, let's do it again. And as I was doing it more and more, I realized this does not have the same effect, And same with my friend Paul, who's also in the Time-Lapse Worlds. He's been doing his split ups, and has been going back to that. It's like his secret sauce. And at the end of the day, at some point it will get boring, right? And this is not a new thing. It just means that rethinking what you've done, and also not trying to be bound to what you've done in the past, because you will have your signature under it no matter what. Like there will be your signature if you don't copy, because this is something else. If you copy someone, I don't think it will perform. But if it's like you putting your twist to it, automatic, like don't stress about it, I would say, because this is what I'm also just trying. I'm trying to adapt my ideas and my visions of movements and like cool transitions and like 3D work into different kinds of videos. So yeah, I think how do I balance it is understanding it first, that I need to take a step away from it, because when you don't realize that, you will automatically think in that way all the time. And I've realized that with my videos. I'm like, okay, I will shoot this and I will shoot this, intro, outro, 3D, intro, outro, 3D, like, and I've realized that is not what will, help me in the long run. So realizing it first, and then being forced to kind of think outside the box also, again and again and again, then I think will automatically get you there.
Okay.
So yeah, another question, I think the last one for this specific topic, because then we have a survey that is more like based on other questions related to other topics that we're going to have in the next weeks. So these are all similar in a certain way. So can you recall a project where you successfully overcame a creative block? What steps did you take to move it forward? So maybe you had in mind something that was huge and you couldn't reach that, or maybe the expectation were like a specific deadline and you saw that the deadline was arriving. How did you move forward? If it happens, I mean, if it happens to you, fine.
No, it definitely happened. Like there's most of my, you have to think of it like this. If I am being asked to create something for a specific brand, I go in there with confidence, right? I go in there and like, yo, you know, this is the first step. You know, getting the job first is like the first thing. So I'm trying to sell the idea that I not even have to them, and if they like it, they were like, yeah, that is what we want. That idea is not final because they think it's final in my head, but it's not final. And then I reach a point where I'm like, oh shit, now that is happening today, by the way. I need to deliver a concept for tomorrow's call with a client. I don't have any concept yet. I have like a rough idea, but I don't have it figured out yet, right? But from experiences in the past, I know that by tomorrow I will have a final concept in place that I will show them. And I would say a specific example of how I overcame that creative block, or when the thing is that I don't think that there was like a specific thing that helped me, because at the end of the day, the ideas, there's no like button that you can press and the ideas will be there, right? The ideas will come from you taking the time to think about them. And I want to like give a super quick example. For an example, I was doing this BMW project, which will now be released, and I was on my way to go there, and it was like a big production team, and they invited a few content creators, and I was one of them, and they expected me to bring a list of shots that I need, obviously, to be able to shoot them. I didn't have that list until like 2 hours before I got there, because I was on the train and I was preparing the concepts on my laptop because I didn't have the time. And I think that also goes with the one question that Paul asked, procrastination. I was like, yeah, I'll figure it out. And I was sitting there, I was like almost about to crash in that train. I was like, but then that's what I mean. Like under pressure, I feel like I shine a lot. And this is maybe just for me, but I feel like I shine a lot when there's like a lot of pressure involved. I will find a solution. Like no matter what, there will be a solution. When I have super big render issues with a Porsche video, by the way, that Porsche video that we posted, like I had the worst experience doing it because the software kept crashing. I built the scene in a very stupid way and the deadline was coming closer and everything. And, I didn't have the render figured out. Everyone was asking for like feedback, like, dude. But, all this pressure kind of like enabled me to kind of think outside the box, because you need to find solution. You cannot I looked up ChatGPT, what can I do? What can I fix? What can I do? And everything was too slow. Like nothing was within the amount of time that I had to finish this project, right? So I had to keep going and going and going until I had a solution. And, there was no other way around it. And at some point, like I, just manually rendered the frames that I could with the software crashing. And I sat there overnight, just to keep the render going. And that was probably very stupid. I could have dealt with it a lot better in the before that, but that was the last minute option that I had, and I did it. And now I know a lot better how to handle those complex scenes and to not have that problem again. But I needed to kind of go through that point to be able to now know what I need to do better. So
procrastination in your case was more the inspirational thing that allows you to start the fire to your ideas.
I think so. Procrastination and like having a certain deadline coming closer can be super stressful, but I think will enable you to do things that are, maybe more than other people would do, or more efficient than what is the norm, because you need it to be more efficient. So I would say I've been in so many stressful pressure situations where there's so much pressure involved. But if you're in that position and it kind of decides on, I feel like everybody needs to go through that position and that phase in order to be able to know their limits. Do you know what I mean? Because if you don't have those projects and if you try to avoid them, you will not learn how to work more efficient than others because you never needed to. Do you know what I mean?
And besides that, it helps you actually grow under pressure.
Yeah, I think
It's
pressure is a
definitely
good
grow
thing. Like
experience in
pressure.
this. You're going to learn a lot of things under pressure because, I mean, you don't know how to do something, but you have to get it done. You don't have a choice.
Exactly.
You're forced to.
And
So
it's yeah,
indefinitely, you're going to learn a lot.
Yeah,
it's
about
probably
the
not the
help of.
best answer to that, but yeah, I think
Oh,
that is
sorry.
it.
Yeah, I wanted only to answer to, I mean, there was a little like chat related to ChatGPT. I think that ChatGPT and all the others like similar like Gen AI tool, they can help you to a certain extent because they are still not up to date to the trends there right now. For example, ChatGPT is up to date to December 2023.
Mm,
And even if you give data, still behind the scene, they receive data that you cannot really read. So generally speaking, it's great for ideas, but when you want to like follow specific trends, follow specific like kind of motion design stuff that it's like on the spot right now, that it's not that helpful. It's like requiring
mhm.
you to still study the different social media accounts and looking at the websites and YouTube or maybe Behance. Behance, we were talking about Behance as a catalog also for showcasing the work. So I think that you have different ways, but ChatGPT can only help you maybe for the scripting side of you, point of view,
Mm.
or everything that is more related to how to construct your story, how to have a compelling story. But I think that still the creative idea needs to come from you and some
100%.
inspiration that you can get. Yeah,
I do
online.
want to say though, I do want to say that in the process of creating those concepts, I always go for ChatGPT. Nowadays, this is like my first approach to like, I have this idea for Mazda. I know I want to do something with a car. I know I want to have this shot where it rotates around me and I want to have that car like build up around me. What can I do? And then it gives me like a bunch of very shitty ideas. And I'm like, nope, nope, nope. This is completely wrong. But then the point is not to get frustrated and be like, ChatGPT doesn't understand, this is not cool. But keeping going and just like seeing the smallest detail of like one thing that could be cool and using it as inspiration to be like, okay, this is
Spark,
cool.
yeah,
Skip everything
mhm.
else and then dig down from there. It's like it's like a conversation. I really use ChatGPT a lot for my ideas, and usually the ideas that I end up doing are not the ones that ChatGPT gave me, but like pieces and parts of it were like from different messages. And sometimes I skip the whole list of conversation gave me because I had this one single word in there was like, spline animation. I was like, oh, dude, fuck everything you just said. I will do something with splines. And then the idea is there, right? It's just that spark. And I think ChatGPT is great for that, 100%.
Definitely, I can agree with that, especially if you're using your ChatGPT 4.0 and
I
you
use
using
ChatGPT
the
4.
search feature whenever, yeah. So whenever you're using that, then you're using your search feature. That helps a lot to get up-to-date information as well as what's trending currently. So it can be a really powerful tool, and really it's a creative assistant.
Also, it can also be super super useful because you can just give them. Sometimes I go as far as uploading, like transcribing a full-on client meeting that I recorded, transcribing it, sending it to ChatGPT, including the PDFs they sent me for the outlines of the concept, or like the brand, specifics and do's and don'ts or whatever. Just feed it all the information that I have access to, and so we're all both on the same page with that, right? And then sometimes it picks up things from that meeting that the client said that I don't even remember. But then it's like a second brain, but like a brain that you need to tell what to do. That is not really thinking by itself in a sense. But yeah, 100% great source of inspiration. If I would probably
and
add
and
that to
and
my
and
list of inspiration, yeah.
and what you can also do with ChatGPT is amazing. It's the longer you speak to it and the more information you give it, you could actually get it to become a clone of yourself, the way you speak, the way you think, the type of answers that you're usually looking for. So, I mean, I've got a few chats where I can copy and paste it in it, and it'll give me exactly what I'm looking for without me asking it that this is what I need. And
Yeah,
it's phenomenal, mind blowing.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Um,
But make sure to not stick to what ChatGPT offers you. Like the first idea is usually not the right one.
no, no.
I'm not
You've got
really.
to iterate it constantly.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
Um,
can
I've,
we can have some time dedicated to Cable. So if you
Kayla, are
want,
you here? Let's do it. Let's go over
yeah,
your project.
if you want to join us, it would be great.
Yes, you need to click the little purple
So press
button.
join. Yeah.
Just a quick question while waiting for Kivo to join us. This would be an interesting one. So we all feel imposter syndrome when creating something new or using new software, new techniques. I think as creators we all have that experience. But how do you deal with imposter syndrome when you're creating something new?
Good question, man. One of my favorite topics to talk about, honestly. And I think the answer to that is understanding that it doesn't go away, first of all. Like, no matter what you do, I've had too many conversations with too many people from different niches and different years of experience in the industry. They tell me all the same thing. Everybody is going through the same thing. And first of all, understanding that you're also not alone with that is, I'm just talking from my personal experience because I have deal with a lot of imposter syndrome all the time. Understanding that you're not alone with that, first of all, has helped me a lot. And then also, not letting letting that keep you from creating new stuff. Because at the end of the day, the more you do, the more you realize, the more the imposter syndrome for me kind of like, it never goes away, but it kind of like compares to different phases of my life where I felt it more, and the more I do, the more those phases get less and less, in a sense, because I know that I've dealt with way more of imposter syndrome before, and I've done a cool project after and nothing happened, so that was for no reason. So now if I'm comparing that to that, but again, it all comes down to experiencing it, and also being able to just accept it, realizing that no client will ever know what you're doing behind your desk. Nobody will look over your shoulder and be like, this is wrong, this is not the way you should do it. Nobody cares about how you do things. People care about what you do at the end. And also people will remember you with like, how the project ended, not with how you first approached them, whatever it is. Like, what matters is like the end result and like the outcome. And if it doesn't work, bro, it's like, who gives a shit? Next project will come. But I honestly, again, this is a very recent topic for me. Like, I'm struggling with it. Like, it's a daily thing every day. Like, I have a bad client call and I'm like, why am I even sitting here? What am I even doing, bro? Who is this dude who's pretending to know anything, But then, it equals out, because then I have another cool meeting with like a cool client and I do a cool video, whatever it is. Like, small successes like can turn the whole day around for me nowadays. But yeah, again, no super good answer to that, but I just understand everybody has it. Like, it's not a you thing. Like, everybody has it. Perfect timing.
Cool.
And Kivo is about to join. Thank you for that question, Tasdik. Yeah, he's here. What is up,
Hello,
man?
guys. What's good?
How are you?
I'm fine.
I like your
Excited.
keyboard.
Thank you.
It has the
It's,
motion creators
mechanical.
colors. Ooh, nice. Cool. You sent me a concept of your project, right?
Yes, exactly.
I have to say, I have not looked at it now. Also, part of the reason was because I realized I didn't have access to it. I was lacking permission to look at it. But if you want to share your screen real quick with the concept, maybe that's better.
Yes. First, let me
So-
open my WhatsApp page.
Yeah, just for a bit of context, Kevo recently joined the call to ask a few questions on how to do his project, and I told him to just bring it here and we can brainstorm together of what could be possible, what could be done to maybe hopefully give some inspiration. And yeah, we'll see if that goes well. See how much of a crazy concept you came up with, man. Can you give us a bit of context?
And people can also take Kevo as reference, because also he joined the conversation also in the Lucas meeting.
Mhm.
So I think that it's also, important to like use these like live calls as well to gain information about your work and get feedback, and also share experiences, not only to have like this one-way conversation with question and answers, because I think it's also beneficial to exchange information, share your work, have feedback, and also maybe have different brainstorming about the ideas that you can have.
100%. Cable, can you give us a bit of a background context again? Who's this project for? And you working for a company?
Yes. So basically, the storyline is talking about like, first I use iPhone for content creation. Like I just shoot with an iPhone. It's been like 2 years, and I have something like that. And I'm trying to like up level the game. So that's why the company is like buying me an Sony FX. We already have a Sony FX, but they're buying me one for me.
FX3 or FX30?
FX3.
Nice. I have the same one.
So, oh really? So basically, I want to like, this video is like showing the followers that I have that I'm changing like from iPhone to Sony FX, you know, and I'm trying like to do it in a like the standards, like my standards is like here, like I want to do it like the standards here, so I can show them what is leveling up, you know, like this is my feeling to it, to this project. So I just wanna like read the storyline. I start with my phone. The camera, like I don't want to give you the full details, but the camera will like gets closer to me as if like I throw the phone. I think you have. I just saw like a video that you have. You did something like that, but you didn't transform the phone.
No.
You know. I want to do the same concept, but while like the phone is up, I want to transform it to Sony FX, and then it falls down. While it's falling, okay, I want to catch it, and I want to start like shooting with it, so it's like it changes to the camera vision, not Blender. And then it zooms into the lens, like to the screen, sorry. It loops, like it's like it goes to a tunnel until the first scene is like it keeps on looping, you know?
100%.
So this, I don't know. I feel it's doable. It's we can like I can do it. I feel
it's a great idea, bro. And let me tell you what, it's honestly very much achievable. So 2 things. Do you want to let's go very specific, because what I would like to nail down, I like the idea, by the way. I love it. I think it's this is like the first, when you told me that I have a phone, I want to switch it to a camera, I want to show the process of the switching, you know.
Exactly.
Do something with a cool transformation is a cool way to do that. So that is also the idea that I had. So I think the idea is great. Just for me to get over, you don't want to show like footage from the camera, right? What kind of content do you do now on your page?
So I go to restaurants, I shoot like content for them. I also shoot like I can go like any style, you know, like fashion, food, let's say cars. I just put my creativeness in those things, you know.
I do want to tell you though that you need to be like aware that, I don't know the kind of content that you do. If you're known for your cinematic like shots, this will be a different piece of content, you know. This will be something else, and if that is something you want, that is awesome, because I think this is kind of like what outside the box thinking can mean, right? Creating something in a format that is new to your audience, to maybe other people's audience. So you have to be aware that with this type of content, you will probably attract other types of clients and brands, and you know, again, everything that you do that you're passionate about, if 3D is something you want to get into, this could be a great first project to start with, for an example. So yeah, just be aware of that. Be aware of your audience and the target that you're aiming for. If it's like fancy restaurants, they will probably not want to have like a crazy 3D flip or whatever. Like if that's like the kind of stuff that you want to do. But there's a lot of other brands and cool other people that will enjoy it. So first of all, it's important.
Can I share screen? Can I share screen?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Try to see some. Because what I would like to nail down is like breaking down what the steps are that you need to do, and then you being
That's
able
why
to follow those steps.
I have to write everything. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now I'm on, right? You can see my screen.
Okay.
So this is my profile.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna show you one. This is like from BTS to Final Cut. Wait. And
احلى شرف مصنع
he's speaking Arabic.
الرز ماسكه قالوا معي لنشوف ايش هم المواكب الموجودين بسبارتنز.
Cool. Nice.
So like
Perfect.
this is like my style, and
So you
that's
you do some kind of edits already, some like outside the box,
exactly,
a bit more creative, and that's what you're already doing.
Exactly.
So
and sorry, the last thing I want to show you.
Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, honey, to her, my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. I keep a horn on me. Echo my seat. I peak ownership. The is by me. Mr. Get Off. I get off at my feet.
Nice. Cool. Oh, it's not done.
Okay.
Okay.
Password.
So let me just say, I think 3D is something you are interested in. 3D is something that I think could go well with your style and the type of clients you work for. So let's break it down. Let's break down the steps and see what we can kind of come up with together. So
I'm gonna bring my notebook. Wait.
Oh my God! Now it's getting intense. I was like, let me bring my notebook. It's it's interesting because I feel like so first of all, when you have like done a project like this and a few projects like this, I think that you will have like a pretty good understanding of what the things are that you need to learn, right? Because you already know like some fundamentals, and like I don't worry about animation, right? If I do another project that involves like some water simulation, I know that I haven't worked with water simulation before, so that will be something I need to look up with to add to my tool selection, right? I will not have to master it, but I will probably need to start learning it and start looking for cool plugins for that. And then next time I know that I have a go-to plugin for that. So what I'm trying to say is the more you do these kinds of projects, the more you realize that these kinds of like one-on-one breakdown things will come naturally to you, where you know, okay, this is how I can approach that. So for this specific project with you want to have the phone in your hand, right? And you want to throw it up. First thing needs to be, have you worked with 3D before?
Like 3D on Blender?
Yeah.
So yes, so basically I did something like you teach me.
just for context, for this specific project, the lens flip animation that I've done is pretty much like the perfect breakdown of how to actually do it. If you're like, but
I finished that.
Yes, I want to enable you to like divide it into topics that you need to look up in order to be able to do it, and then look up tutorials for those topics. So first one would be, depending on your location, photo scanning. So make sure you understand how to use phone, for an example, use an app like Polycam to
Yeah,
scan
I already did. Yes.
of your surrounding. You've probably done
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Next step, in order for you to do that flip thing, do the same thing with you as a separate model, like photo scanning yourself, getting all the
Yeah.
models in place first, right?
Okay.
That is the first thing. When you do the throw animation and you have the models in place, make sure that you are, depending on, again, the conditions of your scene, if you want to shoot at nighttime or daytime, they match. So think about something like, what is an HDRI? What is an HDRI and high dynamic range image? An image that you capture on site with, say, for an example, a 360 camera. You can also do it with your phone, or just finding an HDRI online that matches your surrounding, kind of, because the lighting is also what kind of sells the effect a bit. And
this is what you did with the banker, like the warehouse, right?
Yeah,
with the Mercedes.
That was a full 3D scene, but this is also when you're, especially when you're doing like daytime shots, lighting, you know, because it can be more blue, the sun can be a bit lower. So find images, go to Polyhaven, for an example. Look up HDRIs. They are all free. You can find HDRIs for almost any environment, whether it's nighttime, whether it's daytime. I would probably suggest you shoot it you could do it both ways. You could do daytime, but you could also do nighttime. I think, especially when you're doing like a close-up shot of something, a nighttime shot could look cooler because you can make use of like specific light placement, but that's up to you. If you do decide to shoot daytime, I would probably just use an HDRI. Go to Polyhaven and look up an HDRI that matches your environment. Then having that all in place, having like the rough lighting setup in place, understand what keyframes and you know, just animation in general, because you do want to make sure that you have a good, because this is one of the most important things, that the flow is right.
I want to get satisfied.
Yes, exactly. That also goes with shooting. So make sure that you do the take exactly the way you want it to. So if you have your cameraman filming you with your phone, make sure that it matches the movement exactly the way you want. And also imagine how the camera should move in 3D, right? This is what I always think about. Like, I don't just do a phone clip and then try to think how it could look in 3D. No, I know that here I stand here, like the microphone is me, I'm throwing up the lens. If I do the camera movement until here, I already think about how the camera will move in 3D, right? So if I'm throwing up the phone like this and I move the camera till here, make sure that I don't slow down here, but it needs to be a linear movement here. So otherwise the motion to 3D won't look as clean, right? So understanding the motion that you're trying to create first can be very important, especially, you know, you need to know that before you do the shooting. Then when that animation is done and the camera is flying up, by the way, again, you can watch the lens flip tutorial for that exact process. Just replace the lens with a phone, for an example. And then the transformation part is what I think will be very eye-catching. I can give you my ideas. Obviously, this is totally up to you. But I think I would probably look for elements when I do transformations. I would look for elements that kind of like match in both, you know, scenes. When I transform two cars together, I make sure the tires match, and when the tires are rotating, they're in the same place. Otherwise it will get very messy. What is that one thing about a phone and a camera that, you know, can be matched? I'd probably go for the lens, right? I'd probably go for one of the lenses, maybe have this one lens come out, be a bit like get larger and extend. We have like the rings from the original, from the camera lens, you know, kind of going. So I would use the lens as like the main point of interest. What I mean when I say like find a point of interest. When I match two cars, obviously there needs to be, they need to kind of match in place, otherwise it will be very unsatisfying. I would say finding a good object, and I would probably use the lens. I think this could actually look really cool. The lens kind of extends, and then we have some like gears that are coming
like 3 layers also.
Exactly, it's like flying out the thing, and then they transform, spin around, and then it kind of extends to to a full-on lens. You know what I mean?
Exactly, with the FX Sony. Yeah,
exactly. And then you use your phone, for an example, to kind of shrink it down and match the dimensions of the camera body as like part of it. So it's flying up, one of the lenses coming out, it becomes bigger, like there's gears coming, there's like stuff transforming very mechanically. This stuff is shrinking down and it becomes like the back of the camera, and it kind of flips in there, and then make sure you have like a solid snap click when it connects to the lens, and then it's done transforming and it falls back down. This could be a way, but I think the key takeaway from that is understanding that in order to be able to follow that transformation, not make it too random, there needs to be like one element that matches in a very satisfying way. Do you know what I mean? So I would probably go for one of the iPhone lenses to do that, because the camera and the iPhone obviously looks pretty different, but you know, that makes it even cooler if you pull it off in a cool way. So yeah, understanding that. And then, by the way, this is just a basic matter of understanding keyframes, resizing objects, placing them in the right way, but this is full on creativity. So this is something you would need to like think about how you can do that transformation, make it look cool. I would probably focus on the lens again. Phone body, rest of the phone turns into the camera body, extends, gets bigger, matches the dimensions, boom, we have the transformation. Okay, that animation is done. Camera rotates, flies down, you know, and you are in the same position, then you will be in the outro catching the camera, right? You want to catch the camera in real life.
While it's flying, I want to like mix like my hands coming and catching it, you know? Like while it's flying.
Okay.
I don't want it to lens. Okay, yeah.
So it will fly, it will rotate, and then
it comes
a
like
mask.
Yeah, but like I want it to fall, but not all the way.
Yeah, okay.
You know, like it falls and then pop.
You can make it fall like that, and then at some point there will be a masked out version of
my
hand, a freeze frame, and you just introduce it and then match it directly where
to
it
the
needs
real
in the video. So it's like
exactly, yeah.
And then you catch it, and then you have it in your hand. That is one single 3D scene that you can do. You need the environment in place, you need the models in place, you need the lighting in place, and you do the animation. Boom. That is pretty much it. This is one 3D scene that you render as one 3D scene. Then you match it in After Effects with masks and blur and make it look good. Next step is to have the flying through the screen effect, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
The tunnel. How can I do it?
You
like
can do
I
that.
can see the AI already did this, like the zoom in effect. Do you think I can connect it or like?
100%. You can pull it off in Blender. You can also try it in AI. 100%.
Yeah.
If it looks cool, I would probably try it in 3D. But you again, if there's like a cool tool that you can use to fly through a screen and then transition to that, 100%, bro. Make use of the tools that are out there. Like you are like, I feel like an idiot telling you this because it feels like you already know exactly where you need to start. And this is exactly what I mean. Like having those, you know, pieces in mind, knowing the steps, what I need to do. What do I need to do when I shoot? I need to, okay, shoot this stuff, make sure that the camera movement is right. Okay, I need to photo scan the room in order to be able to work with it in 3D later on. Okay, boom, step number one. Do the 3D animation. What are keyframes? What are camera movements? Okay, I'll look at the tutorial for that. Maybe look at the lens flip animation because it's very specific to that. Okay, boom, now I know how to do that. Now I need to do the transformation. What objects can I use? Okay, boom, 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 boom. You know, and you start building up on that until you have like a final, like a full list of a breakdown. And you could just start. Like this is a very doable project. And I think the idea is great, bro. I think it can be very, and 100% experiment with AI for the last transition. Because, you know, I personally, if going through a screen and using a mask for it is very, you know, you've seen that. But reinventing it a bit and maybe using an AI twist to it, I would love to see what that looks like. I haven't done it. I would love to try it though. So yeah, I think that sounds like a pretty fucking good concept.
Also so I can do the looping. So while it's zooming, how can I mix the, let's say, the AI to the real footage, like to the first footage?
I mean, there's so many ways you can do that, right? With AI, I personally haven't used this kind of effect with AI, but I know it's probably possible. And I think at the end of the day, it's just a matter of matching the movement. So what you could do, for an example, is depending on where you film, have an object in the room that you either cross and you can use as a mask to kind of like, even just a panning up motion like this from the floor up. So the camera would move in 3D, it would go to the floor, and then you use the floor as like an element to match with real life. And then the camera moves up and you have the intro again. Like this is an element, because when you're starting with a static shot, this is harder to do. But when you have like a movement in there, you can adjust the movement as much as you want in 3D. So or with AI. I'll probably do like a pan motion. You can do something with the sky, you can do something with the ground, you can do like orbiting around an object, masking around it, and then just you're visible. So there's so many ways you can do that. But
if you are going to go the AI route, if you are going to go the AI route, I think maybe try Runway ML so that you can play around with the camera movements as well from shot to shot. Maybe that'll help.
Runway ML.
I use this Runway.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if you want to use your keyframes, for example, you could put your first shot in or a screenshot of your last shot and where you want to transition it to in Luma Labs, Luma AI. That way, it'll seamlessly transition it between your last frame and or rather your first frame and your last frame. So you can try that out also.
Luma AI, I heard about it.
Luma AI.
Yeah, LUMA.
Let me put a link in there. I'll put a link in the chat for you.
You can do the same with Runway ML. You have anyway the fact of having multiple frames that you can use, and you can write the prompts that you want, or you can try also to leave everything empty, and it will do it like creatively by itself.
So I found that if you actually leave the prompt empty when merging scenes or using an image, it's actually better. You just use the prompt maybe to steer it a little bit. But if you're using the motion, the camera movements, then don't put any prompts in it. Just use the camera movements, put your image in, and let the AI take over. I think you'll get the cleanest results.
Lenny, last thing that I want to show you, I was messing around with the Mercedes project. I came up with a video that I did, a really fast video. I took the same concept as you, but I didn't do the transformation. It's very I got the thing, but still, like, I have to be consistent. This is the first footage. It's on Drive. The quality, on Drive is not. Can you hear the sound?
No. Is there a way to share the sound? I
have to stop sharing and then
maybe try resharing it.
Yeah, resharing it fast.
This is so cool. Like, honestly, when I see people like getting inspiration from what I do, this is like the most humbling thing ever. This is fucking awesome, man.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, let's try it.
تجار السيارات لازم يشتغلوا معي. تعرف ليش؟
Okay, I see. Okay.
This is my first project, bro.
Awesome, bro.
My first thing.
I love that, bro. This is such a cool first project, by the way. This is like a creative first project. It's not the donut, right? This is something very specific.
It's not the donut, bro. It's not the donut.
It's not the donut.
I went straight to the point.
Bro, awesome. Honestly, bro, like, just keep improving on that. Like, that is a very solid start. I love that you're taking, if I can give you like the key thing I would probably work on and focus on is keyframing and also camera movement, because I think especially in this shot you could tell like the camera movement was very quick.
Exactly.
When you do your next project, make sure that the camera motion is already like there's a lot of movement happening, because it's a lot easier to transition to 3D with that.
And also I figured the graph, the graph, like, it's very it's very useful. Like it gives the more
100%.
The ease in, ease out. It's amazing.
100%, bro. You got all the tools you need, bro.
It's time to do it.
Time to do it. Start shooting, bro, and share the progress with us. I would love to use this as like an ongoing thing. I'm here to help share your progress in the community. Other people can contribute. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing that idea with us. I think this is great. I'm so excited to see what you come up with, bro. And bro, you got all the tools, honestly.
Thank you
and
so
you got
much.
the creativity and mindset for it. That is also one thing. I like that you're jumping right into the G-Wagon one.
Exactly.
Fuck the donut, bro. It's fucking boring. No, I love that, bro.
Thanks, man.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
All right. Awesome. If there's any other questions, if not.
No, but I think only Eamon that said, I think he posted something indirectly in the community, and he said that yes, something that he wanted to let you see, but I think that now it's like we went over the hour that we have, so I suggested to share anyway the link, and we can discuss that next week or when he's going to join as well.
Okay. Yeah. If it's like something that he just wants feedback on, post it in the community. If not,
yeah, he wants to have some tips or notes for improvement.
Okay. Did he post it in the community though?
I think so. For what he said, yes. Eamon, just to know from the chat. So, did you post it in the community as link? And maybe we didn't check the post, or did you send it like as a private message? Let us know in the chat. So, yes, I did. Okay, it's in the community. I will maybe check.
Okay. If it's in the community, I'll apply to it. But I don't see it for some reason. I'll check. But also, it's a bit late now. But if you could come in next week, and we could also like these kinds of like calls are awesome. Like I would like to. I don't know if that's valuable for other people. I guess so. But anybody can just share their stuff. I'm happy to. I'm sitting here waiting. So I'm happy to contribute and give my input on that. So. I'll write in the community, but also feel free to bring it for the next call if there's anything else.
I think I saw the message into the roast me section. So.
Okay.
Do you want me to post it right now and check it right now? Or do you want me to? It's an Instagram video.
I saw it. First Blender animation. That's it. I think. Yes, I'll check it out and write a quick feedback on that. Cool. Thank you guys. Actually, let me we're a bit over the hour, but I think I'll write the feedback. I think this is better. I'll write the feedback, look at it more.
Yeah, so you have more time for that. Yeah.
Yes. Cool. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope that Aladdin, we didn't kill you with your sickness. I hope you're Hope you're doing better, bro. Thank you for showing up, man. I can see you struggling. he's ready to go to sleep.
I think that we get sick in the same period of time, so I'm sick too. So we are on the same page.
No.
Yeah.
I can see the headache from here, bro.
Yeah.
Awful. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining. Okay, but I would love to see your progress, and I'm happy to see you guys next week. Again, make sure to use the affiliate feature that is now part of Motion Creators. And we'll see you next week's Tuesday.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Kilo.
All right.
Bye, guys.
See you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
All right. Can we just make sure that we all stay in the record until everything is
Yeah.
uploaded again?